This conversation is not really about electric vehicles. It's about how serious long term infrastructure businesses are actually built in India, where policy, technology, and execution meet. My guest for this episode is Rajeev YSR, founder and CEO of ThunderPlus, a company building end to end EV charging infrastructure across manufacturing, deployment, operations, and digital platforms. Rajiv have seen both sides of the systems, working inside government on EV policy and outside it building infrastructure on ground. We are releasing this conversation on India's Republic Day, a reminder that nations are not built by intent alone but by institutions, systems, and policy who execute consistently. In this episode, we talk about what it really takes to build reliable, profitable infrastructure in India beyond hype, speed, and headlines. I am Sachin Kamte, and this is Digisamvad Business Podcast. So Rajiv sir, you have seen India's EV journey from inside the government and outside as a builder. What did that experience teach you that most people don't see?
Very interesting question. True to its nature, that India we always call our strength is unity in diversity.
Yes.
The federal structure also is such a way that you have states that work independently. However, they again work in coalition when it comes to the one central government that is formed. Right? So generally, what happens is the nation as a whole, definitely we have a vision that in the next 5 years we wanted to be here and there, right? We have 5-year plans. Then we have that transformed into Niti Aayog now, which drafts
Right.
different, I would say, way forwards and then the roadmaps. However, when I talk about unity in diversity, while there is one department or one government, right, a structure at the central which drives a roadmap. Now, this is absorbed by states, and there are multiple departments within the states, whether it is discoms, whether it is red caps, whether it is red co's, right, different nodal agencies. Again, these states have their own individual priorities and agendas.
Right.
So most of the times what happens is that particular common vision is further internalized and it takes a new avatar of what that state needs. So there is one filter that you see here. Now, second thing what happens is the gap between the ground reality when it comes to execution versus the planning at the helm of the things is quite wide.
Right.
That's the reason people like me who have been at the helm of affairs when it comes to the ground zero where we work, what's happening, are invited to these specific government roles for short tenures so that we tend to bridge the gap between the vision and the execution so that the feedback loop is rightly closed and then we move in close direction where the gap between the vision and the execution is limited. So to answer your question, the challenge is, yes, there is a great gap between the vision documents or the mission with which we intend to go versus the ground reality. But is that the case forever? No. The government and the industry are making every attempt possible to bridge that gap so that we as a nation move together.
Yes. And I think what I understand from this is at the planning phase also you might be giving some inputs from your side. But once it comes to the state level, your role is more important there because you play the integration part, wherein what is the vision and what is the execution. If there is any gap where there you come in place. That is what I'm thinking from my point of view.
That's correct. That's
Okay.
correct.
So now that we are on this podcast, we are talking about Republic Day.
Yeah.
So I would also like to add on to it that yesterday itself I heard on the news channel that we are having right now a meeting in Davos,
Yes.
Switzerland.
The World
and-
Economic Forum. Yeah.
Yes, World Economic Forum. And it was noted and mentioned in the news channel that IMF has projected that India is going to, grow at a rate of 7.5%. That is the highest globally. And I think one of the major reasons for this growth is electric vehicles. So our today's topic is more about electric vehicle and the infrastructure. And that is where ThunderPlus, your company, comes into place, where you provide an ecosystem, you provide the infrastructure plus the digital connectivity for these chargers. So first of all, thank you for taking this opportunity and coming to this podcast. So let's move ahead with our next question. That before ThunderPlus, you worked across mobility as well as logistics. So what problems kept coming back again and again is you're seeing your transition working from a company, now you have your own business. What do you see some problems which were there previously and now also?
Yeah. So majority of the sectors in the country as we speak right now are unorganized.
Right.
Right. And logistics as a sector, while it is recognized by the government right now, but then the way it operates is still unorganized. Now, you have logistics on one hand, which is basically the nascent, and of course the backbone of the entire supply chain ecosystem of the country. And then you have e-mobility as an ecosystem, which is just budding. Right?
Yes.
So now you imagine this, you have two uncertain variables coming together and then trying to offer solutions which is a green mobility or sustainable mobility in logistics or in supply chain, which makes the problem even more merrier.
Yeah.
Right? So, having worked in both these industries for the last 7-8 years, I would say that despite this chaos, there is still an order.
Okay.
Now, how does the order come? Let me take certain examples and then talk about it. If I were to talk about passenger mobility and the cargo deliveries, let me pick one example, passenger mobility. Very recently, we signed an MOU with the government of Andhra Pradesh, where we said, in certain satellite cities of theirs and emerging towns such as Visakhapatnam, Vijayawada and Tirupati, we are building a rapid transport system which is completely depends upon the green mobility, where from the first mile till the last mile, the entire mobility of that particular commuter is through electric vehicles.
Okay.
Now, the problem statement seems to be unified and singular, but when you double tap and then go a little deeper into it, you will understand that within that simple problem statement, there are three different problems embedded. One is, when you talk about first mile, that is generally served by two-wheelers, three-wheelers, to a certain extent four-wheelers.
Small tempos and all.
Yes.
Right.
And when you talk about middle mile, it is generally by buses of 4 meters to 12 meters
Right.
capacity. And then when you talk about last mile, it is the similar solution as the thing. Now, we are talking about 4 different product portfolios, two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, and buses. These 4 different product portfolios have their own different challenges in terms of operations, in terms of charging infra, right?
Yes.
So this diversity, this fragmentation, yet the attempt to bring all of them together and offer a solution is a challenge. But when this is rightly solved, that brings opportunities.
What I understand here is if there are 4 different types of mobility, they will be having 4 different types of charging points or 4 different types of equipments in that product and vehicle. But then we also need to have a standardized charging infrastructure, right? I think that is where ThunderPlus comes in picture, right?
That's correct. So to answer your question rightly, as I told you, while there is chaos or while there is fragmentation, there is still order in terms of integration. And I will talk about this order integration. And then the technical word generally we use is standardization.
Standardization. Right.
Now, even within this standardization, there is a very good diversity when it comes to EVs. For example, the one simple statement anybody would like to make is, can I have one single charger that can charge my two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, buses all put together? Is it possible? Yes. Your AC001 standard charging protocol serves the same purpose. 3.3 kilowatt chargers that can charge two-wheelers, three-wheelers as well as four-wheelers.
Okay.
Now, these are all slow charging. When it comes to fast charging, within four-wheeler itself, you have 4 different protocols. India initially adopted the first protocol, which is GBT protocol, that was predominantly dominated by the Chinese market. But because of the then geopolitical tensions, India consciously chose to walk away from that particular standardization. That's why you see all the first generation vehicles still have GBT protocols. And then we have CCS and CHEDEMO protocols in between, which are considered to be neutral protocols. CHEDEMO, of course, is by the Suzukis and the other players,
Japanese.
which are Japanese. And CCS is more predominantly rest of the Japanese and then the European players and then the US players. Now, other than these two, Tesla comes and says, hey, you know what, to hell with all your standards, I'm going to bring my own standardization, and that's called Tesla Supercharging Protocol.
Okay.
Now, while the charging protocol started in these 4 different portfolios, but as we, now this was almost 7-8 years ago, but as we see right now, we see a convergence that is coming among these protocols. As I told you, GBT is left away. Tesla, having entered into India, chose to adopt to CCS2 protocol.
Okay.
CHEDEMO did not take its birth really as it is intended to be. So, without logically or without saying in black and white, India in a way adopted CCS2 protocol for four-wheelers and buses. With this standardization, it becomes easier for infrastructure players like us to build the charging infrastructure, which I would call it as the next rail network for the rising India.
Yeah, so CCS you are saying, right?
Yes.
So that's the keyword over here that we need to focus on. And is it like all the vehicles which will come, which will be following that protocol? Same way, even if you are importing, will those vehicles be having that kind of protocol? How is it? How does that work?
So at this point of time, most of the charging stations that are in India right now are CCS2 chargers. The market already has established itself as a CCS2 protocol charger. So any new product, for example, VinFast recently launched its chargers, CCS2 protocol.
Okay.
Maruti Suzuki is launching its new e-Vitara Brezza, CCS2 protocol. All Mahindras, Teslas, Kias, Hyundais, all of them, including Tatas, they all come with the CCS2 protocol. So that becomes the untold standard already to the Indian EV ecosystem.
Okay, so that way there won't be like we will need a separate charger for a separate vehicle.
No.
So now any vehicle which is electric can be charged at any electrical
charging station. That's correct.
Okay,
that's correct.
Great. Good to know that. So let's have some core conversation here. Many people talk about EV adoption. What do they misunderstand about EV infrastructure? Everybody talks about adoption, but nobody talks about infrastructure. So what is your thought on that?
Now, since we are doing this on a Republic Day, I would like to take a step back, reflect upon the past, and then answer this question relating it to the presence right now. Because you spoke about a very important point called infrastructure, adoption, Republic India, and nation building, all these four together. See, having our own constitution, having our own guidebook, doesn't necessarily only give us the freedom to choose, but it also brings us or imposes us an obligation for us as a nation to grow independently and individually. Now, what does that mean? It means freedom from oil imports. It means freedom from imports of products. It means freedom from technology. We cannot say that India is a republic nation and yet depend upon the rest of the world for the country to run. Now, having said this, when we reflect upon 1950s, etc., one of the strongest infrastructure that allowed India to come this far and to evolve to a certain extent as a self-sufficient and an emerging nation was the infrastructure then. What was then? It was the rail network. Right. Those were the ports. It was the road network. This infrastructure silently became the backbone of new India then and brought to us what it is right now. Is it sufficient for us? Is it convenient that we fall back upon those laurels and then say that we will continue to grow? The answer is no. So then what is that new rail network that will take India forward, that will not only take India forward, but will position India as a beacon and a pilot for the rest of the world to follow? That new rail network is nothing but the charging infrastructure. Now, the reason why I made this particular statement is, if you look at any operations in a country, mobility plays a major role. Mobility, when I say, it talks about mobility of goods and services. I talk about mobility of people. For anybody, anywhere to go, it is all about mobility. It is all about connectivity. And if we were able to solve this problem of mobility in a very sustained way, and if we show to the masses, right, that this is actually adoptable, this can actually be owned, and this can actually be executed, the adoption automatically happens. Now, you asked a question. When we talk about EV adoptions, what are different myths that people carry?
Yes.
And what those myths that are being challenged right now? The first myth people carry is, oh, the EVs are expensive.
Yes.
One fragmented view, yes. For a given model, the EV versus the non-EV counterpart, the EV is definitely expensive at an upfront cost perspective. But when you look at the total cost of ownership, which is the capital investment of the vehicle plus the running cost that you invest in terms of fuel together forms the total cost of ownership.
Yes.
EV is very, very cheap.
Running cost as well.
Yes, almost 20% of what you spend on diesel is just what you spend on an EV when it comes to running cost.
So just 20% of the cost of an EV is what?
Absolutely.
So it is very much beneficial to adopt a EV more than an IC combustion,
Very true. See,
But the upfront, as you said, upfront is what people are not, immediately hooked upon. They're hesitant because of the upfront cost. But if they understand the value for the long term, I think then they will be definitely having more positive thought towards EVs, right?
that's correct. So that is myth number one. Myth number two, oh my God, the charging stations are not available everywhere, unlike my petrol pumps.
Range anxiety.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wherever my vehicle stops, I can find a petrol bunk and then fill either my petrol or a diesel.
Right.
But when it comes to EVs, how do I find those charging stations, right? So range anxiety and most importantly, charger anxiety
Will that charger give me correct output?
is one. Whether I have densely populated chargers is second. Even if the chargers are rightly densely populated, is the charger functional when I go there is third.
That is also one
That's also
big question. Because sometimes we see, okay, there is a charger, but I don't know whether it's working or not.
Working or not, right? So, while it is very easy in a podcast, right, being an EV influencer or being an EV thought leader to say that, hey, everybody, you should buy EVs, this will help you, blah, blah, blah. I thought unless I practically follow, demonstrate and experience, I do not have the moral right to encourage and educate others.
So what they say, follow what you teach or
Absolutely.
preach what you
Absolutely.
teach.
So this time, what I've done is, I have taken up a 2,000 kilometers drive on an EV in the last 1 week's time. I started from Hyderabad. I had traveled all the way to Vijayawada, Kakinada, Visakhapatnam, Vijayanagaram, multiple, I would say, the mandal and village routes internally, and I came back.
In your EV?
In my EV.
Okay.
2,000 kilometers.
Okay.
Exactly to evaluate, is it really challenging to plan a long drive in EVs?
Okay.
Is it really cheaper or economical to drive through EVs versus the diesel? And let me tell you, these findings, of course, which I'm going to share during the course of this podcast, will drive everyone crazy. It brings, in fact, I also recently posted on LinkedIn unfiltered feedback on EV and its adoption, which we talk about right now.
Okay.
And it will challenge many of the hypotheses that we carry. And it will also challenge most of us to consider that EVs as an alternate mobility solution.
Rajeev ji, let's cut the silence, cut the suspense, and tell us, what did you learn from your 2,000 kilometer EV journey? What was your practical experience?
So this 2,000 kilometer journey began from Hyderabad. The vehicle I used has got around 70 kilowatt hour capacity of battery, which gives around 500 kilometers range.
Okay.
That is roughly every kilowatt hour gives me around 7 kilometers as a range. Now, at every station of ThunderPlus, the per unit cost is roughly 20 rupees.
Okay, for the consumer. Okay.
20 rupees per kilowatt hour. Now, for me to do a 2,000 kilometer trip, I needed 4 full recharges, which means a 70 kilowatt hour into 4 is roughly around 280 to 300. So 300 into 20 is roughly 6,000 rupees is the expense for my entire trip.
Is it to and fro?
It is entire 2,000 kilometers to and fro. Now let us assume the same cost in terms of a diesel vehicle. When you talk about a diesel vehicle, roughly assuming that the diesel or a petrol, the cost of a liter is roughly around 100 rupees.
Yes.
And let us assume that it gives anywhere between, say, 12 to 20 kilometers as a range. And for calculation purpose, let us take around 15 kilometers.
Average 15 is better.
15,
Yeah.
right? So that means for every liter of petrol where you spend 100 rupees, you get to run 15 kilometers.
15 kilometers.
So if you were to run around 2,000 kilometers, that means you will have at least, so 2,000 divided by 15 will give you roughly how much? 120 liters, roughly. So 120 liters into
100.
Uh,
Diesel cost, you are saying?
100.
Around 100, right?
Yeah. So that becomes roughly around 12,000.
12,000. Yeah.
So
it is
6,000. 6,000 versus 12,000,
Oh
right?
my God.
So this is number one challenge, that yes, EVs are very, very economical, and that is how it is. That is number one. Second thing is, if I were to go on EVs, I may not have charging stations rampantly available, right?
Okay.
Again, when I started from Hyderabad, I drove for about 2.5 hours and I reached Suryapet. And at Suryapet, I had ThunderPlus fast charging station at Hotel Logili, where I was able to charge the vehicle. Now, the myth here, oh, if I were to charge the vehicle, I have to wait at least 1 hour to charge the vehicle or 2 hours to charge the vehicle, because most of the chargers are 30 kilowatt or 60
Yeah.
kilowatt, which means a 30 kilowatt needs to be engaged for 2 hours for 70 units and a 60 kilowatt almost 1 hour. Second, as long as I charge, I need to sit only in the car and then wait and do nothing, right? Now, how I experience these two. At Suryapet ThunderPlus, we have a 320 kilowatt ultra fast charging station.
320.
20 kilowatt.
Oh my God.
Right?
Okay.
So as soon as I connected my vehicle got completely charged in another 15 to 20 minutes only.
What are you saying?
Yes.
15 to 20 minutes
Yes,
only?
yes. I'll also tell you the math behind it, right? And then the second one is, during this 15 to 20 minutes also, this charging station is not a standalone station. It is a station attached with a beautiful hotel called Logili that has got nice children park area, a great spread of menu from Telangana and Andhra style of cuisines.
So you could eat your breakfast also.
Absolutely. I had my brunch. I spent some time with my kids. By the time I came back, the vehicle is fully charged. Now you asked, how is it possible that within 20 minutes you get your vehicle fully charged?
Right.
My gun can dispense, the dispenser can dispense 250 amps.
So is it like only ThunderPlus has this technology, or is it like this is a latest technology which ThunderPlus is brought?
Great, that's a good question, right? So a charge point operator or a charging station is culmination of two products. Product number one is charger, who is the manufacturer of chargers, who is responsible for bringing such kind of high capacity guns. The second one is charge point operator, who purchases those chargers and integrates it into a solution.
Right.
So in this case, not many charge point operators were able to identify such kind of a fast charging guns, but we were able to work very closely with the OEMs and then said we need chargers that can handle the capacities of 250 amps without necessarily any liquid cooling.
Okay.
Right? So 250 amps, and the voltage architecture at which it runs is around 400 volts. Right? That means if this car is connected for about 1 hour, it can dispense 100 kilowatt hour units. Now mine is a 70 kilowatt hour car. I already drew around 150 to 200 kilometers. That means I consumed around 40%. I only have 60%. So 60% of 70 kilowatt is roughly around 40 units, right? So now if I engage it for 1 hour, right, the units that it can dispense is around 100 units. So I only needed 40 units. So it is roughly 20 minutes.
Okay. From that point of view, it was, but being a fast charger, it took less time, right?
Yes.
But I mean, is this is a specialized unit that you are saying?
That's
which you
correct.
manufactured by having a cooperation with the OEM.
Correct.
What about other vehicles? Now, was it like the vehicle which you are using, it was compatible with that ThunderPlus charger? Or
Very, very beautiful, a very, very well articulated technical question, I'll tell you. See, in a charging ecosystem, what happens is in the charging process, the vehicle becomes your master.
Right.
The vehicle says that, hey, I'm hungry, I want to eat, give me so and so amps of electricity at so and so potential difference. Charger becomes your slave.
Right.
Charger should be able to deliver. Now, in most of the cases, what happens is, if you look at the recent vehicles of recent launches, they come with 1.2C. This is what the fast rating.
Okay.
And they also come with larger battery packs, which means they demand sometimes 120 units per hour. Of 500 volts, 600 volts at the potential difference, and around 200 to 250 amps as a current demand. Now, when the vehicle demands it, if your charger is only a 30 kilowatt or a 60 kilowatt charger, you cannot.
Yeah.
But you also need to have a competent charger which says, okay, this is what you demand, here it is, I can deliver, right? So it needs to be combination of both.
Okay.
So in your case, if I have a great car, will I always get my vehicle charged fast? No. You will only get your vehicle you will only get your vehicle charged fast when you connect it to a ultra fast charger like the way we do. Similarly, if you have a very slow consuming vehicle and then you say, no, I will connect to the ultra fast charger, will my vehicle get charged? No. So both compatibility is important. Okay. But now people or the vehicle OEMs or vehicle manufacturers are building fast charging capability products.
Okay, so the vehicle are getting inbuilt this technology.
Absolutely.
The latest ones.
Absolutely, that's correct.
Okay. Let's not do a marketing for vehicles today.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about the infrastructure. Now, another thing, like practically thinking, if I am having a electric vehicle, how will I come to know where are your chargers or where are the electric chargers which are compatible to my vehicle?
Brilliant. So this communication or this particular standardization is what we learned as CCS2 protocol. So when I buy a vehicle which is a CCS2 compatible, any charger that is CCS2 compatible, both get married. Okay. Now, first thing I dealt with the myth of the cost. Second thing, I dealt with the myth of the charging time. Now, third, while I'm dealing with the myth, I'm going to answer this particular question. Okay. Right? The third important thing is, okay, Suryapet I charged. Then with a full charge, I have another ultra fast charge station at Vijayawada. I didn't stop there. I went all the way to Eluru. Okay. And there I charged for an ultra fast EV charging station. And from Eluru, I drove all the way to my hometown, which is Vijayanagaram. Okay. Now, your question, how do you know that there is a charger at Eluru? How do you know that there is a charger at Vijayanagaram? How is it that you are able to plan this trip? Very, very simple. Now, most of the chargers are actually found on Google. Right? Okay. You can charge fastest, ultra fast charging stations or ThunderPlus charging stations, and then the Google.
Is it like integrated with the maps?
Integrated with the maps.
Okay.
Right? That is number one. Second thing, the charge point operators also together are coming in sharing their charger facilities with one another. That means, for example, ThunderPlus has got a tie-up with MG. So my chargers are seen on their app eHub. ThunderPlus chargers can be seen on Reliance Jio. ThunderPlus chargers can be seen on Static. ThunderPlus chargers can be seen on multiple other things. Similarly, some of their chargers are also visible on my platform. So the discoverability is there. Third most important thing that you asked, how do I know whether that particular gun is working or not working or is it engaged? So within those particular app, you get to very clearly see whether that particular gun is engaged by somebody or is it faulty and not working or is it available. So one can have all this planning done right at the comfort of a ThunderPlus app at this point of time and plan their journey so smoothly.
So I think this app will be like a boon, like a necessity henceforth if you are having an EV and you are traveling. So that app will definitely tell me where it is it working or not, or is it open or vacant or busy?
Absolutely.
So that will be very, what we say, stress-free drive for everyone.
And it also talks about the capacity of the charger you have. Is it a 30 kilowatt, 60 kilowatt, 240 kilowatt? Now, let me talk about another used case, even though that did not come into context. So, very recently, as I told you, one of my friends reached out to me saying that, hey, I want you to come to my apartment society and speak to the management committee because I bought so-and-so EV car basis on your videos and now they're not allowing me to set up a charging point in my parking lot.
Okay.
So then I intervened and I understood what their particular concern is.
Means like a gated community.
Gated community. Okay. And they were saying that, sir, we have 1,000 flats and we have 2,000 car parks. If everybody comes with a request that I want to set up a 3.3 kilowatt or 7.4 kilowatt charging point, now multiply this 2,000 parking lots into 7.4, 15,000 kilowatt hour. Where do I bring such kind of a power? And it becomes completely unviable. Then I said, absolutely fine. That's a right logical question. And then I asked him, do you have 2,000 gyms for 1,000 flats? His answer is no. Okay, do you have 2,000 swimming pools for your 1,000 flats? And the answer is no. Then why do you assume that you need 2,000 charge points for your apartment or a gated community? Like the way you have a common swimming pool that serves the entire community, like the way you have a gymnasium that serves the entire community and a park that serves the entire community, we can always have a charging station placed within your society that serves the entire community. Now the beauty here is this. Not only that you can have a charging station, like the way you can book a meeting room in a co-working space, you can always book a slot in the charging point saying that between 5 and 6 o'clock I am going to charge my car. Book it so that it is not available to others. So all these things are feasible through ThunderPlus app now.
It can be a common utility.
Absolutely.
Right. Means instead of having individual, if you have a common place where you have a charging point, and as you said, if it is operated by app, it will be very easy for to manage and maintain, and also for the members who are having an EV to charge their vehicles.
Absolutely. And another thing is, it also is an additional revenue for the society. Why? Because the input power cost for an EV is roughly 7 rupees, that's electricity
Right.
meter. And then the market at which it is being sold right now is 20 rupees. Right? Okay, since it is a house, even if you were to sell it at around 16 rupees, you already have 9 rupees as your margin, which can add to your maintenance amount, and you can further reduce the burden on your other residents and reduce your per square feet maintenance cost.
Actually, I'm thinking from a business angle now that it can be a new business model also, and somebody can utilize this technology and earn their livelihoods also.
Let me tell you this. You can start tomorrow, now that you are anyway into the business network community, as well as your services are also into digital marketing and sales. You can, or even the audience who are seeing here. So these are the benefits when you follow the podcasts, which are generally done by business leaders,
Yes.
not influencers, because they bring those insights which can probably change the rest of the future for you. So this is both for him and for you. Tomorrow, imagine that you gather 4 or 5 teammates, and then you say that you will have to go to the societies, educate them about EV charging infra, tell them all the benefits of setting up the EV charging station. Number one, it becomes an additional passive income generator for them. Number two, the value of the property increases. Number three, if you have this particular solution in place, none of your residents will come for individual permissions for all of these things. If you are able to create the demand, ThunderPlus is more than happy to partner with you and fulfill the demand through its services.
Okay.
You make money, the gated community makes money, and I serve you.
Okay.
A business model right away.
It's a good business proposition, I think.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
But there must be some permutation combinations and some basic feasibility may be required, right? That you need to have at least this number of electric vehicles or this number of flats. And also, as you said, the power supply part, will that also be handled by ThunderPlus, or we will have to approach the power systems separately?
Very good question.
Because that is one block which everybody will have.
Very good. I think I really appreciate the multiple hats you are able to wear at the same time. A hat as a consumer once, a hat as an EV driver once, a hat as a businessman once, a hat as a community MC member once. So let me tell you. See, generally most of the communities, the way it happens is, you have multiple transformers or multiple power supplies. Certain transformers are very dedicated to the home and then the home supplies.
Yes.
The common amenities, right? That is the corridor lighting and the security,
play area and
etc.
all those things.
These are all powered by the second transformer or the second unit. Most of the times, a 50 to 60 kilowatt load is basically left untapped. In most of the societies.
Okay.
How do you know this? When you go to the MC members and ask for the bills, you will have sanction load and demand load. Sanction load is the full capacity of that particular transformer or a connection. Demand load is what you are actually using. So in some of the places, your sanction load minus demand load would be roughly around 60 kilowatt. That means how much of buffer you have.
Excess
you have.
Yeah.
So you can always use this excess and then set up a 30 kilowatt charger or a 22 kilowatt charger at your place, and then get this rolling from day one, number one. If in case the number of vehicles have increased, there is a lot of wait time. All you need to do is, again, take the help of ThunderPlus. We will liaison on behalf of you with the DISCOMs, with the REDCOs, with the mobility, I would say, nodal agencies.
Okay.
We get all the permissions. We do the entire work so that you can sit back and rejoice and relax and have your complete community equipped with EV charging infra.
Great. So that way you are utilizing your expertise and bringing in comfort to the members of the society.
Absolutely.
Where if from my point of view, if I'm doing this business, that is not my core area. I'm not aware whom to contact, how to get. But now that you said, that becomes easy for me also. So one bottleneck is removed in that way.
True.
Good conversation on this topic. We'll explore this further. But to continue, I would like to know, sir, ki, infrastructure businesses move slower than startups.
Yeah.
Why is patience actually a strength here?
Yeah.
So comparing infrastructure companies and here we are comparing different startups. So what is the difference and what is the patience required in infrastructure?
Very brilliant question, Sachin. And this again, I will reflect upon the laurels and then the networks on which India is built. For example, we talk about the Indian rail network. We talk about the 2 lakh kilometer plus Indian road network.
Yes.
We talk about the ports. We talk about the airports. We talk about the post offices. We talk about the electricity lines. We talk about the telecom. Now, when I speak of these different categories which are just mentioned, these do not, I would say, arise one single day just like that. It needs consistent, persistent, patient efforts to be invested day in and day out for not just weeks, not just months, but for years and for decades
Decades. Okay.
to be built. And once these are solidly built, you know the impact that it makes on the nation building. And EV charging infrastructure is no different from this. If somebody of an opinion that I will start an EV charging company today and tomorrow I will evaluate it so 100 crores and then I will make it so and so, hold on. You are thinking it completely wrong. EV charging infrastructure plays a very important role in nation building. You're not just developing the network for yourself, you're developing a network for 140 crore people to rely upon.
Yes.
Not just the existing population, but the future generations to come upon, right?
Yes.
So that way, these monotonous, patient, boring infrastructure, as it has become the backbone for the nation, I spoke about those.
Yes.
Similarly, EV charging infrastructure, slow, needs a lot of patience, no flashy glamour around it, but this is going to become the backbone for the new India that is coming up.
Yes, and I definitely agree with you. And you need to have patience. It is not like an SaaS business where you burn cash and go for a glamorous launch. Here, I also feel like you cannot open or you cannot have a EV charging point anywhere. You have to think strategically, right?
Yeah.
I have heard your previous podcast. There also you talk about network.
Yes.
And not direct acquisitions or putting up taking a place on rent and putting a charger.
Correct.
So what is your thought behind this network part?
Yeah. See, if you look at even the rail networks, right? The rail networks, they always have a hub, a spoke,
Yes.
and probably a busiest spoke. Spoke again becomes a hub, and from there the sub-hubs, etc. That's how it happens. A standalone railway infrastructure between point A to point B doesn't serve any purpose.
Right.
It is exactly the same when it comes to EV charging infra also. Why? Because you cannot predict or you cannot limit the movement of the vehicles from point A to point B alone. You will have to enable that, yes, point A to point B as a movement is enabled, but you cannot start point E to point F. You will have to build from point B to C to D
There has
to
to be
E
further
to F.
connectivity.
For
Okay.
example,
Okay.
when I have set up a charging infrastructure of 2 megawatt capacity within Hyderabad, Secunderabad around 0.5 megawatt and High Tech City around 1 megawatt, and then I go and tell all the EV users, hey, mine are ultra fast charging charging stations, come and charge.
Right.
It serves them no purpose. But when I have set up a similar ultra fast charging station in Suryapet, when I have set up a similar charging station in Vijayawada, and from Vijayawada to Yeluru, and from Yeluru to Vishakhapatnam, now I tell them that there is a network that I have developed between Hyderabad and Vishakhapatnam.
Okay.
Similarly, when I start from Vijayawada and I continue towards Tirupati, Chennai, again I start from Hyderabad and build towards Kurnool, Anantapur, Bangalore, and start from Hyderabad, build towards Pune and Mumbai. And from Bangalore again I start and build the other things. So that's what is a network expansion. And an EV charging infrastructure will only be successful when you apply this network expansion formula while you build it. Sporadic or independent chargers here and there serve you no purpose, not just you as a charge point operator or a franchisee player if you are interested into, but even for the EV users, it serves them no purpose.
Right. If there is a network, then I feel more assured. I will.
Absolutely. See, in an EV charging infra, trust me, once network is their net worth. Simple.
Right. Network is net worth. Right. Great. So let's move. India is a complex, different states, cities, different types of power systems. How should founders really think about scaling now in this EV business in India?
See, EV charging business is very unlike a SaaS business or a quick commerce business or a simple digital aggregator business. Why? Because you have a complex set of elements to solve.
Right.
What are those complex elements? Number one, land. Is land very vividly available or easily available in India? No. Second, power. Do you have access of power anywhere and everywhere in India? No. Third, permissions. Do you get those permissions anywhere so fast? Do we still experience red tape? The answer is yes. Four, adoption of EVs. Are EVs adopted so well that anywhere you set up a charging station, it goes, I would say, super performing from day one? No. Since you have these four different variables and complexities to solve, and then these again vary from city to city, state to state, right? So my recommendation for anybody who would like to enter into this particular business is ensure you fix at least some of them as your constants. For example, pick up a place where you know that there is high density of vehicle movement that is already there.
But how will we know are there EVs in that moment?
See, generally EV adoption at this point of time is very, very strong among the metros.
Right.
Hyderabad, Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, leading the charts, but even the other metros are also there. So consider that metro as a starting point. Say, for example, Hyderabad is a metro. And from Hyderabad, what are the most densely populated routes? One is Vijayawada, other one is Bangalore, other one is Mumbai, and then Warangal. Right now, these are highly dense. If you look at Hyderabad to Vijayawada, there is lot great population of chargers. But Hyderabad to Bangalore, not many. Yeah. Hyderabad to Mumbai, not many. Hyderabad to Warangal, not many, right? So that is how you pick up one particular city and estimate the potential vehicular movement, right? That is number one. So estimate the demand, that is number one. Number two, never ever build standalone chargers. Even if you were to set up, even if you were to say, no, I have a beautiful launch, I have arranged nice TVs for you, I have arranged a sofa for you, so that while your car takes 2 hours to charge, you happily sit in my lounge and relax. Hey man, the EV owner doesn't come to your charging station to sit in your lounge or to watch the IPL in the TV. He has got better facilities to do that. He comes to you so that he can get his vehicle charged instantaneously and move on, right? Yes. And so do not just limit yourself to 60 kilowatt or 120 kilowatt chargers. Go for ultra fast charging like the way we are doing it.
Right.
Third one, no standalone charging stations. Even if you have all of the launch and everything, etc. But what if your kids are bored? What will you do? Yeah. What if your kids are hungry? What will you feed them? Biscuits, chai? Will it satisfy their hunger? Always have your charger in collaboration with a charging station in collaboration with a nice restaurant, so that when the vehicle gets charged, your customers can go and enjoy a nice meal, right? So the first one is, as I told you, vehicular movement. Second one is no standalone. Third one is don't go for these cheap near 60, 120 kilowatt charging stations. Go for ultra fast charging stations.
So if we follow these three principles, I think we will be definitely successful in this business.
Absolutely.
That is what you are saying.
And most importantly, you might ask, but I don't know the technology. I don't know the operations. I have money, but how will I?
Know-how. I don't have the know-how, right?
Brilliant. So that's why ThunderPlus has a program which is FOCO or FICO, franchisee invested, but company operated. What we say is, yes, you have money, you have space, you have so-and-so, you have vigor, you have the passion to be an entrepreneur, be there. Your entire operations and business is run by me. While I do that, I continue to educate you, I continue to equip you so that you become independent and you can run your own charging station and you can become a successful charge point operator.
Yeah, if I tell these points with my network, definitely there will be some people who are eager to invest, but Absolutely. Sometimes they hold back because of not having knowledge about the technology, not having knowledge about the systems. But if there is a hand holding, definitely people will be more interested in this business. I think so. Definitely. I myself is interested now.
Very nice. No, let me talk about few examples of franchise owners who have come, right? So one franchise owner of ours, the first franchise of ours is taken by a young girl who just passed out of her MBA. And she goes to her dad and says, Dad, I don't want to get into any regular corporate role. I want to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
And then her dad did multiple, I would say, studies and multiple researchers, and finally enrolled at ThunderPlus, and then he has set up a ThunderPlus charging station, and then the girl is very happy.
Oh, great.
The second franchise was also by a woman. She runs a hotel in Mangalagiri near Vijayawada, and she noticed majority of her customers were coming in electric
Electric
cars,
vehicles.
and there is a small tea stall outside her hotel. The delivery persons come by electric two-wheelers, three-wheelers.
Right.
And then she approached ThunderPlus asking us if we were ready to set up a charging station. Done. And now she makes dual revenue. Revenue through food, revenue through charging. Then there is another person who was fed up with the Trump and the confusion that is happening in the US. He finished his master's and came back.
Okay.
But obviously, after coming back, he was not really identifying the right job, etc. So in Bochapalli, fortunately, his father has got a 500 square yard land. What we have done, we have converted that into a fast charging station. And now he's happily enjoying the charging station, looking after its operations and expanding it, right? So these are live stories of people who have chosen to become entrepreneurs,
Right.
with having at least either a land or money to invest, and rest of the heavy lifting and the confidence is done by ThunderPlus.
Great. Good to know that. And I would like to tell the audience also that when I went and visited Rajeev sir's office, he told me to please visit his charging point, which was right next to your office. There I came to know that it was a barren land where there was not utilized properly land. Maybe it is government, I don't know that, but it was a barren land where people are throwing their dust. And it was
Garbage.
become a garbage place.
Correct.
But when I went there, I saw that this garbage place was turned miraculously into a EV charging point where I was seeing two-wheelers who were Rapido guys, there were Swiggy, Zomato guys, there were three-wheelers, there was a car, and the person who was guiding me, he said a bus can also charge here. So if that, from that point of view, I feel your technology is transforming a barren land and it is giving optimum utilization for the resources.
Absolutely.
And addition to that, as you said, entrepreneurship is also being generated. We are not telling people more to go and do some jobs. Here, by taking up EV franchises, they are becoming entrepreneurs also.
Absolutely.
That is
absolutely.
nation building, I would say.
Absolutely. Empowering
The youth.
is empowering the nation. That's correct.
Correct, correct. So nice to know that. So Rajeev ji, we spoke about ThunderPlus hand-holding for entrepreneurs. If somebody is ready to invest, you are ready to handhold them and give the know-how. But suppose if I am ready to invest, what is the optimal or what is the minimum investment that I'm looking for, or that I should invest, and what is the return that I will get?
So let me answer this question with 2-3 steps behind from an entrepreneur's perspective. Right? So what is an entrepreneurial journey for anybody? What does an entrepreneur do? He guesstimates that there exists a problem. I'm going to build a solution. And I will try to build a solution in a most unique way, innovative way. And in the process of me solving that problem, I make money. Right? This is the whole thing. Now, the certainty of the problem, the certainty of the solution, the certainty of that being scaled up is always 50-50. He may succeed, he may not succeed.
50% chance, yes.
Now, ThunderPlus, exactly in its entrepreneurial or a franchisee model, we address those very, very strongly. For example, the problem a franchisee owner is trying to solve is to remove charger anxiety, which is exactly the problem ThunderPlus as a company is solving. Second, the certainty of the solution. How do I solve it? By setting up fast charging stations, which is again ThunderPlus is solving. Third one, certainty of the revenue. How do I get, I do all of this, but how do I get customers? How do I get revenue?
Yes.
The entire business in terms of business expansion or marketing is again done by ThunderPlus. So from an entrepreneurial perspective, we have targeted those uncertainties that linger around in an entrepreneur, and we brought certainty to them. Now, coming to the business model, how we brought certainty to them. Number one, our tie-ups are national in nature, whether it is with the OEMs, whether it is with the fleet operators of two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers and buses.
Okay.
When my tie-ups are national, which means that any nook and corner of the country, a charging station of ThunderPlus is set up, it enters the family of ThunderPlus network, which means it becomes a solution provider to the entire demand which we have already generated through our strategic partnerships. So the demand is taken care. Second, when it comes to technical know-how, for an entrepreneur, when he's setting up a charging station, we do not leave things to him to solve. From permissions, licensing to civil, power, charger, including the operations and maintenance of it, we will take the front foot.
Okay.
And not just that, we will take the entrepreneur or a franchisee partner along so that he learns the process and he becomes self-sufficient or equipped in the process. So the first one is the business is taken care. The second one is the operations is taken care. Now the third one, while these two are great, what about my returns? Right?
Yes.
I invest 30 lakhs, 50 lakhs once a year. What are my returns? And of course, you ask the question, how much should one invest?
Yes.
And what should one have? Okay. Now, let me talk about different scenarios of entrepreneurs that might exist. Scenario number one, you have a land, you have space, and you wanted to convert that particular space into charging infra. We will support you. Scenario number two, you have a hotel, right? You already have an active business that is running. It could be a hotel, it could be a pharmaceutical company, or it could be XYZ, whatever. And then you wanted to build a charging infra around the place which acts as a passive income generator to complement your main business. We are there. Third category, I don't have anything, neither land nor business. I want to start afresh. I only have capital called money. There is a franchise opportunity for them too. How does it vary between each one of them? So, if land as a problem is solved, and if a hotel as a problem is solved, definitely you can start your investments as low as 20 to 30 lakh rupees.
Okay.
If somebody says, no, I do not have that capital, can I start at 5 to 10 lakh rupees? Yes, we can always reduce the capacity of the charging station and start a charging station, provided you have a land at least taken care, at as low as 10 lakh rupees. Now, it can go up to 1 CR, 2 CR, like some of our franchises that we have built right now. For example, Suryapet charging station that we have is a ThunderPlus franchise, which is more than probably a 1.5 crore property. Similarly, something that is coming up in Rajahmundry right now is again going to be a franchise. And something that has come up in Bochupalli that again costed more than 50-60 lakhs as a franchise, right? So when somebody brings only an investment, from a returns perspective, what we tell them is, your investment deserves multiplication and returns, and we guarantee them for every investment that they bring in, minimum 12% IRR.
12%.
12% IRR guaranteed.
Okay.
Now, I'll also arrive at the logic why we have arrived at it. Your FD gives you around 6 to 7%.
Yes.
Then your mutual funds can give you up to 10 to 12%.
10 to 12.
And your stock market can give you between 12 to 15%. But again, your mutual funds and your stocks are risk.
Yes.
And they are not easily liquidated whenever you wanted to liquidate. And there are not necessarily assets attached to them. But here, and of course, in the real estates, the returns are again 3 to 4% while you have an asset. Here in this case, you will have an asset attached to it through a franchise. The chargers, etc., would be on your name.
Physically, they will be there.
Physical assets,
yes.
right? You can always liquidate them and make money.
Yes.
Second, we are talking about these charging stations making operational and profitable the responsibilities with ThunderPlus, even if it doesn't happen. Say, for example, you have invested, say, 50 lakh rupees. And ideally, you should get, say, 6 lakh rupees as per annum ka return.
Yeah.
For some reason, you only got 5 lakh rupees. No questions asked. The 1 lakh rupee is given by ThunderPlus to you.
Okay. How is that possible? I mean,
that's the confidence and that's the business secret which ThunderPlus holds. Again, I wouldn't call this as a secret. Again, thanks to ThunderPlus and its strategic partnerships and then the expansion of its customer base. So we are guaranteeing that when you set up a charging station at the place that we recommend, the traffic is bound to come. Because we don't go a place and then build a traffic. We go to the place where the traffic already exists.
Okay.
And then we solve the solution there.
Okay. So you will be doing your primary research
Absolutely.
about the location, about the possibility of having movement of traffic in that area. Then only you will recommend.
Another example, Mr. Sachin. ThunderPlus, are we the first entrant into the market? Absolutely no. In fact, we are very late. We have been only operation for the last 2 years.
Okay.
But today, between Hyderabad and Visakhapatnam, if there is one company that handles majority of electric buses in its charging infrastructure, it is ThunderPlus. Between Hyderabad and Vijayawada, we handle more than 20 buses a day, which means 40 trips.
Okay.
Between Vijayawada and Visakhapatnam, we handle more than 15 buses a day. And we have built their infrastructure such a way that they can handle up to 50 buses.
My God.
Right?
Okay.
Now, all this is now the buses is again a ready-made demand.
And it's a big vehicle, right?
It's a big vehicle. When you connect a bus for about an hour, you dispense 400 units.
Correct.
That's a huge business.
So your charging points have that capability.
That capability. Okay. And our franchises will have all these bus customers that whom I serve are obviously becoming the customers of my franchise. And if in case you have a hotel, for example, suppose right now I'm building between Hyderabad and Bangalore. Imagine you have a hotel and you are not very happy with the customer park that is coming to you. The minute you tie up with ThunderPlus, you not only get a charging station, you will get captive customers. Each bus carries up to 40 to 50 people.
Yes.
And I can bring around 10 buses a day. That means without spending a single penny, you have probably 15 to say for example 500 people on one route.
Yes.
And the same bus covers 2. That means roughly 1,000 new customers coming to your doorstep, to your hotel every single day. Imagine each one of these 1,000 people, even if they spend at least 100 rupees, or 50% of them spends only 200 rupees, the revenue that I'm giving it to you through the bus business is 1 lakh rupees per day.
Yes, it will be like a multiple source of income.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the bus gets charged, you get revenue from that. The bus passengers will eat, you'll get revenue from that. And again, as you asked me one important question, right? The discoverability. Yeah. What is the myth? Will a standalone charger work? You already have a hotel. And all you need to have is set up a charging station. The customers charge their cars and they can always bill you to the hotel. Right?
Yes.
So these various business models exist. And that is how we are able to confirm and ascertain that 12% is guaranteed to you. No questions asked. Anytime it is less than 12%, we pay you the thing. Balance. But then our assurance to them is your IRRs you can expect anywhere upwards of 15 to 18 to 20% basis the location and basis the capacity of the charging infra.
Yeah, you need to have a right location also.
Absolutely. Okay.
Good to know that. Let's move on now that we are celebrating Republic Day.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on, if freedom gives nation choice, what actually gives it real capability? What is your thought on this statement?
Brilliant question. Freedom definitely gives the nation a choice, but it is always the infrastructure that gives the nation the capability.
Capability, right.
Now, infrastructure, when I mean, not just necessarily the charging infra. Infrastructure could be the roads, the rails, the ports, right, the buildings, and many other, I would say, social amenities that we talk about.
Yes.
Once we have that infrastructure right, and also this infrastructure in terms of health, infrastructure most importantly in terms of education, right?
Correct.
Because the biggest fight India at this point of time is fighting across the world, right? That we are unnecessarily being picked up for our civic sense, right? We are being picked up for things that on how we behave in the public. Right?
Yes.
While again, are these uneducated Indians that are there? No. Well-educated engineers, they are good coders, good programmers, good businessmen. But when it comes to how to behave, right, we are somehow missing the mark. Reason? Because we are not rightly educated on how one should behave, right? So a nation, the capability, infrastructure in all these realms, infrastructure in education, infrastructure in health, and infrastructure in all other systems. That gives a nation
real capability. Right. And where do big national plans usually struggle according to you? Is it in design or is it in execution?
You can have the most beautiful design in the world, and if it is only limited to a paper, the value of the design is only the value of that A4 sheet. You might have a very minimalistic and simplest design just sketched on a rough paper, but if your design was able to see its form through execution, that is worth millions and billions. So for us as a nation, and India is not dearth of ideas, right? From the beginning, we are
exploding with ideas.
Yeah, we are always explode with ideas, and that's the problem. We limit and we stop ourselves with the ideas. Even the audience at this point of time, right? I'm sure you're watching this particular podcast to understand, and while you are watching, while you are looking at our conversation, you are bombarded with ideas. But what will happen? You will stop this, start your Instagram and start scrolling it. Serves no purpose. This idea needs to be put to execution.
Right.
And when 140 people take that step, that we do not limit ourselves just with an idea, but we move towards execution, that's when India as a nation takes a leapfrog jump into a better nation at building.
Right. And try to experiment it, right? Whenever you have an idea, whenever you have a plan, immediately try to experiment it and see whether it is worthy or not, and then move ahead instead of just thinking about it.
Absolutely. See, I strongly believe in fail fast, fail early, fail cheap. Now, for you to fail, what you need to do, you need to start.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Always start with an assumption that you're going to fail anyways. Always start with an assumption that this is going to be your learning. For example, when we started this podcast, we started only after 20 minutes to realize that the voice is not recorded.
Yes.
But good that it is recognized within 20 minutes. Then we do the entire 22 hours of
2 hours,
podcast,
right,
right?
right.
So any idea, it is very easy to execute. You don't have to necessarily build apps, necessarily build applications. Trust me, India cannot be built on apps. India would be built on infrastructure. India would be built on systems. India would be built on institutions, right? So you have all the wherewithal and ecosystem for you to start, experiment. If you fail, you will have 100 ways of making it work.
Correct.
Fail fast, fail cheap, raise up early, raise up again, and move forward.
Absolutely right. And I totally agree with this point. And as you said, infrastructure decisions affect the public directly.
Yeah.
So what kind of responsibilities does that create for leaders like you?
See, we strongly believe that it is the institutions, it is the steel plants, it is the dams, it is the infrastructure, be it charging or not charging. Those are the temples of modern India.
Right.
And as leaders, it is our responsibility to start building those temples so that India actually becomes the nation which is truly sovereign in terms of its freedom from depending on the oil imports, but have sovereignty in terms of our own energy consumption and utilization. India will have freedom in terms of not depending upon the other technology and imports from the rest of the world, but we develop products, Atmanirbhar Bharat, with Atmanirbhar products
Yes.
that are self-sufficient and self-reliance, right? So leaders like us need to focus on building those temples in the modern India. Leaders like us must focus on building systems. We need to recognize that a nation cannot be built on just apps and quick commerce. Of course, those are important, but nation needs to be built on systems and infrastructure.
Yes.
And third most important thing is leaders like us also have the responsibility to educate. Skill is important, education is important, awareness is important, consciousness is important, discipline is important, perseverance is important. These attributes and virtues, nobody speaks about these days now.
Right.
Even in fact, the movie industry celebrates arrogance, celebrates
Jingoism and masculinity.
masculinity, celebrates absolutely, right? All of these as hero characters. No. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, perseverance, hard work. These are the attributes one needs to celebrate. And it is even more important in the era of this digital, reels and Instagrams,
Right.
etc., where entertainment is glorified than education. For
Actually.
example, let me tell you, I also dance, I
Yeah.
also sing. So, I have some of the reels where I danced, right? Those reels has got
More likes.
thousands and lakhs of views and
Views,
millions of
okay.
likes. However, I also put a lot of educational content, career-oriented content, EV-oriented content, entrepreneur-oriented content, and then the views are very limited.
Okay.
And then my wife asks, why are you spending your time? And I said, no, if at all India needs anything right now, it needs education. Not entertainment.
Yeah, instead of wasting time on unnecessary things, we should be focusing more on something which gives us knowledge and value.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it will help us in character building also, right?
True. True.
Okay, so now we are at the ending part of the podcast. So looking ahead 10 years, what must India get right in EV infrastructure? What is your thoughts on this?
India needs to build infrastructure before it is too late. India cannot wait for the peaks to come and then develop the infrastructure.
Okay.
Infrastructure always grows in silence, like the way we have seen in telecom, like the way we have seen in the power distribution, or like the way we have seen in rail networks.
Rail and roads, right.
Similarly, the charging infra also needs to bloom in silence, and we need to be prepared than to be reactive.
So focusing on infrastructure is what we should focus
Do for the next 10 years. Absolutely. We should completely remove the thoughts that once the vehicles come, once the volume come, once that happens, then I'll build infrastructure. No, it might come like a wave in the ocean all of a sudden. Correct. All we need to be aware is, are we rightly prepared for it? And then building an infrastructure doesn't happen like a wave, right? It is a consistent drop that needs to be added to the ocean, right? So what I would always recommend is that India needs to be prepared in building the infrastructure, anticipating the peak, not reacting to the peak.
Yes, in advance we should think what the future demand will be and then act on it right now.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Instead of wasting time.
Correct.
For founders entering infrastructure or clean tech, what mindset should they let go of early? Is there anything that you think they should let go?
For those entrepreneurs and founders who are entering into infrastructure as a business, please understand that this is not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Okay.
Yeah. The quick wins are not possible here, and before you even taste a win, be prepared to taste multiple failures, right? And value addition is more important than valuation. Let me repeat this again. The value you add to your customers, the value you add to your stakeholders is more important than the valuation you think of your company.
Of your company, right.
Absolutely. Longevity, profitability are more important than burn, right? You may have the intent to burn money and then let your brand be known, but in infrastructure, it is all about how long you are able to stay, and for that to happen, how profitable you are when you are small. And another most important thing is before you scale, ensure that your unit economics are right.
Okay.
Unlike the app business or a SaaS business where once I have so many number of downloads, once I have so many number of subscribers, automatically my costs comes down and I become profitable. Infrastructure, it is exactly the different. Infrastructure, the point is for every single rupee that you spend, ensure that the rupee brings at least 10 to 20 paisa back. And only then you scale. You cannot bring profitability through scale in infrastructure. You can always build scale to profitability, but not the other way.
Really good thought that you are sharing. And I totally agree on this. Very well said also. And what I feel like is instead of just focusing on fast growth, as you said, think this is a marathon, think long term.
Yes.
And it will definitely pay us the dividends.
Absolutely.
As you rightly said. And the one last question now. If you were not building ThunderPlus, what problems would still bother you enough to work on? So are there any challenges which you feel like that you can work upon apart from ThunderPlus?
Now, the first thing is why I chose this. Let me answer this, and then I will answer, if not this, what? Mobility as such touches livelihood, touches upon the dignity, and touches upon the nation building. All these happen through a system called mobility. And if I were to choose anything other than ThunderPlus or mobility at this point of time, I would definitely choose a system which again has got all these three aspects. A system, if it fails, impacts and hurts millions. A system, if it fails, impacts the dignity of my fellow Indian. A system, if it fails, takes the nation backward. So if given an opportunity, probably I would work upon a system which is more in terms of skilling and education. A system which empowers each individual, because a nation like India needs entrepreneurial energy at grassroots level. I would probably work on developing entrepreneurs from the rural Bharat. I would probably work upon systems that can not just solve the problems in India, but can solve the problems of the world.
Great. That's a very noble thought that you have. that education is one of the best thing that you look upon alternatively. And I think you are already doing it. I have seen your YouTube channel where you are teaching the audience, teaching the viewers about EV and EV infrastructure. So good to know that. And I would like to urge the viewers of this podcast that if you have any questions, if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you are looking to set up a EV charging point, do comment on this podcast, and we will definitely try to reach with Rajeev sir. So Rajeev sir, before we close, any last any thoughts for the audience who are watching this podcast?
Absolutely. I have penned my thoughts and I want to read them to the audience.
Please.
So, as we celebrate the Republic Day today, we remember that freedom is not just inherited, it is maintained. The next chapter of India's independence will be written in power stations, charging stations, and reliable systems that quietly serve millions, if not billions. To founders, build for India as it is. To policymakers, trust the executioners, trust the builders. To citizens, demand reliability and quality. That's your life, that's your right. And this is how, together, when the policymakers, the builders, and the citizens / the consumers come together, we as an India rise. Thank you so much. Wish you all a very, very happy Republic Day.
So Rajeev sir, thank you for your time. Thank you for being patient and diligently giving us valuable answers. We'll definitely meet again soon. Thank you for your time, sir. Thanks a lot.